In the quiet town of Rosehill, everyone noticed her the first time she walked into the school auditorium. Tall and elegant, with a gentle confidence in her stride and a warm, effortless smile. On her face, Sophia Reyes carried herself with a grace that was impossible to ignore. She was a single mother who had recently moved to Rosehill with her 7-year-old daughter, Emma, hoping to build a new life in what seemed like the perfect community. Sophia's dreams were simple: a good school for Emma, a safe neighborhood, and perhaps a few friends she could lean on during this new chapter of their lives. But Rosehill wasn't what she had expected, not at all. At first, the other mothers were polite, but noticeably distant. They would acknowledge her with brief nods across the schoolyard, but rarely engaged in conversation. In the local moms group chat, her messages went unanswered. Party invitations circulated freely among families, but never to her household. Playdates were organized for the children in Emma's class, yet somehow Emma was consistently overlooked. Sophia noticed these patterns, of course. The subtle glances exchanged between mothers when she approached, the hushed conversations that abruptly ceased when she drew near, the way other women would find excuses to be elsewhere whenever she entered a room. Though never stated explicitly, the message was painfully clear. Sophia was too beautiful, too put together, simply too much for the established social circle of Rosehill mothers to accept. What they failed to see was the woman behind the beauty. They didn't witness the long nights Sophia spent hunched over her laptop, working freelance graphic design jobs until the early hours just to make ends meet. They couldn't see the loneliness she carefully masked with her practiced smile. They had no idea how fiercely she fought each day to provide Emma with opportunities she herself had never had. But Sophia wasn't one to complain. Instead, she persisted, showing up consistently to PTA meetings, school events, and volunteer drives. Always kind, always helpful, and always invariably alone. One mother in particular, Tracy Williams, had appointed herself the unofficial gatekeeper of Rosehill's maternal social circle. Tracy was loud and confident, yet beneath her polished exterior lurked deep insecurities that Sophia's mere presence seemed to aggravate. To Tracy, Sophia represented something unsettling, a threat to the comfortable hierarchy she had established among the school mothers. She's too perfect. Tracy would whisper to the others during coffee mornings that Sophia was never invited to attend. She's clearly not one of us. What is she even doing here anyway? And the others followed. Tracy's lead, not out of malice, but from a place of discomfort and their own unaddressed insecurities. It was easier to exclude than to embrace someone so different, someone whose effortless beauty made them question themselves. The situation reached a painful crescendo one autumn afternoon when Sophia found Emma crying in her bedroom after school. "What's wrong, sweetheart?" Sophia asked, gently sitting beside her daughter on the bed. Emma looked up with tear-stained cheeks. "I asked if I could sit with them at lunch today, and they said no." Her small voice trembled with hurt and confusion. "They said their moms told them not to play with me." Sophia wrapped her arms around Emma, holding her close as her own heart fractured. But even in this moment of profound hurt, Sophia's resilience remained unbroken. "Listen to me, Emma," she said softly, brushing away her daughter's tears. "We don't need to be liked by everyone, but we always choose kindness, even when it's not returned. That's what makes us strong." As winter thawed into spring, preparations began for the school's most significant event of the year, the spring fundraiser. This annual celebration not only brought the community together, but also raised essential funds for educational programs and facilities improvements. Tracy, naturally, had claimed the position of head organizer, meticulously micromanaging every detail. Then disaster struck. With just 1 week until the event, Tracy received news of a family emergency requiring her immediate departure from town. She left behind incomplete plans, missing supplies and mounting confusion. The fundraiser, months in planning, was on the verge of cancellation. Panic spread through the group of mothers. No one had been privy to all the details. No one knew how to proceed. The school principal called an emergency meeting, and as the mothers gathered in the library, exchanging worried glances and frustrated sighs, someone hesitantly mentioned Sophia's name. "Doesn't she work in design or something?" one mother asked. "I think she mentioned having experience with event planning," another added. The room fell silent. There was an uncomfortable shifting in seats, guilty glances exchanged. Finally, the school secretary spoke up. Would she even help us? After how she's been treated. But they had run out of options. With reluctance, Tracy's second-in-command made the call. To everyone's surprise, Sophia agreed immediately. No hesitation, no bitterness, just quiet determination. "I'll be there in 20 minutes, she said. "Have everyone ready to reassign tasks." What followed was nothing short of remarkable. In just 4 days, Sophia transformed chaos into coordination. She redesigned promotional materials with professional flair, contacted vendors to renegotiate terms, reorganized the budget to maximize impact, and delegated responsibilities with calm efficiency. She worked tirelessly, often staying at the school until security asked her to leave at night. When the day of the fundraiser arrived, the gymnasium had been transformed into an enchanted spring garden. Colorful balloons arched overhead, games lined the walls, music filled. The air and laughter echoed throughout the space. Attendance exceeded all expectations, and by evening's end, they had raised more money than any previous fundraiser in the school's history. Parents, children, and teachers alike were amazed. And in the midst of the celebration, Tracy returned, having resolved her family matter more quickly than anticipated. She stood at the entrance, staring in disbelief at the scene before her, at what Sophia had accomplished in her absence. For a moment, Tracy felt the familiar sting of jealousy rising within her. But as she watched Sophia kneeling to help a child with a craft project, that feeling gave way to something unexpected: humility. Tracy approached slowly, waiting until Sophia was alone before speaking. "I judged you without knowing you," she admitted, her voice quiet but steady. "And I was wrong." "We all were." Sophia studied Tracy's face, finding genuine remorse there. "Thank you," Sophia replied simply. "But it's not about being right or wrong. It's about community, about how much more we can achieve when we work together." In the weeks that followed, a remarkable shift occurred in Rosehill. One by one, the mothers who had once excluded Sophia began to reach out. Some offered hesitant thanks, others more formal apologies. But most importantly, they began to see her, truly see her, not as a threat, but as a valuable member of their community. By the following autumn, Sophia was no longer on the sidelines of school life. She was leading initiatives, organizing committees, and supporting other mothers who stood where she once had on the outside looking in. Her graphic design business flourished as word spread of her talent, and for the first time since moving to Rosehill, she felt truly at home. And Emma, she had more friends than she could count, and so did her mother. Because what finally became clear to everyone was that Sophia's true strength had never been in her physical beauty. It was in her patience during times of exclusion, her quiet grace when faced with unkindness, her steadfast refusal to let bitterness take root where compassion could grow instead. Sometimes the world judges what it doesn't understand, but the heart always reveals itself in time. Sophia didn't change who she was to fit in. She stayed true to herself. And in doing so, she didn't just find her place in Rosehill. She transformed it, making it a more welcoming community for everyone. The real beauty, as Rosehill discovered, was never about appearances. It was about how one rises when the world tries to dim their light, and how that rising can illuminate the path for others.